What is good? In today's video, my client is looking rough. Alright, he missed a couple appointments. He wasn't able to get into the schedule, so we're gonna go ahead and shake him back to life. Now, I've cut this client about 4 times, right? And when he first came to me, he told me that he wanted a fade with no arches, but he didn't want it to be a flat top, right? And if you're a barber, you know that can be challenging because when you establish the bald line that high, as I'm doing right here with my clipper closed, a lot of times, you know, the fade ends up a little higher. So in order to keep it fairly low and keep that weight along the parietal ridge, so I don't give him a flat top, I'm dropping it towards the back. So I'm starting at the top of his arch with the clipper closed and dropping it towards the bottom. And dropping it towards the back just kind of eliminates the chance of me taking it too high. And now we're going to come in with our trimmer and bald out the bottom. And I'm making sure to not take this all the way up to the top of that line. And the reason I don't want to take it up to the top of that line is because we established it with the clipper closed, and what that's going to allow us to do is get rid of that bald line a lot easier. So I'm trying to get through this step of the haircut as quick as possible. I don't want to spend all my time in the balding process. So I'm just trying to get the hair off as quickly as I can without irritating the client's skin. And you can already tell just by looking at the texture of his hair before we even get into the fade. It's slightly thinner towards the front of his vertical bar. And it's very like spacey. It's not super dense. So we got to be careful when we fade to keep it dark where we want it dark, right? And now we're using the shaver to get it slightly closer to the skin and really make that blend pop. Not pressing too hard with that shaver as well, just letting the weight of it do the work. And now we're going to come in with the lever open on our clipper, and we're going up about a finger's width here, and then we're going to drop it towards the back. Now, although I don't want this blend super high, I do want this blend to be stretched out, right? I don't want it to be a tight condensed fade. I want it to be a nice gradual blend from the skin up into the length on top. And especially towards the back, you'll see when we get higher up into the steps, his occipital bone pops out really far, so it makes it a little more challenging to fade the back of his head. So I'm making it slightly wider towards the back. And now we're gonna come in with that one guard open, doing that same exact thing. And in this fade, I'm gonna establish all my lines going up and then blend my way down. So I'm coming in with that one guard and flicking out. And with this hair texture especially, every time you go with a higher guard, you're kind of freehanding in a way. So I'm coming in with that one guard and I'm kind of freehanding off the shape of his head, and that's going to create a natural soft blend. And here you can see kind of where it's really dark with that occipital bone that I was talking about. So I went ahead and closed that one guard to lighten up that line in between. Same towards the front. Now we grabbed our 2 guard with the lever open, and this will be the biggest guard that we use. So I'm coming in with that 2 guard and I'm creating the shape of the haircut that I want, which is that wedge shape. Because again, my client did not want a high top, so I'm coming in and flicking out. You can already see it starts to come together. So now we're going to start blending down with our 1.5 open. And like I always say, we're going to start off open and then work our way closed. And I'm going to continually comb and brush the hair back down to where it naturally wants to lay. So that way I make sure that I get a nice clean blend. And this hair texture is different, man. When you cut it, it kind of lifts up and doesn't want to lay back down. So I'm being very, conscious of that as well. And now I grab my half guard with the lever open, and we're going to attack that line that I pointed out. And even after I do this half guard, when you see I go up with this half guard, bro, it's looking super spacey. It looks like I patched them, kind of, but when I brush it back down and comb it back down, and it lays, right, it looks a lot more dense and as I would wanted it to look originally, right? So now to get rid of that last line, I'm going to come in clipper closed and as I move up, I'll gradually open up that lever. So right there, I'm about a quarter of the way. Now I think all the way here, and I'm using a lot of the corner of the blade so I don't risk taking up the fade any higher. And then in the back, I'm cutting against the grain of the hair, so you'll see me kind of cut sideways right here. And if you look at this fade right here, it looks a mess, right? And back when I first started, I would have panicked, but I know everything is in the detail, so I'm coming back to my half guard, and I'm coming in close and working on that back area. As you can see, it's giving me a little trouble, but I'm going in every which way trying to get this line blended out. Now we're gonna go towards the front and detail some more. And what's really gonna make this blend a lot cleaner is clipper over comb, man. Lately, especially anything above the lever open, I really enjoy doing clipper over comb. It saves me a lot of time. I don't have to keep grabbing guards, and it feeds through the hair very well. So I'm coming in with that comb and flaring out slightly, and then any hair sticking out, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of. And as you can see, that blend is looking a lot smoother, a lot cleaner. I see some dark spots here that I'm gonna hit with the corner of my blade. And now we're gonna blend into his facial hair there on the side. Nothing crazy, but as you can see, that blend is looking super clean. It came together very well, especially after we put the lineup on this. My man gonna be ready to go. And now for his hairline, it also is going to be slightly challenging, but we're going to go ahead and do our magic, you know what I'm saying? So I'm lifting up the hair, and any of those baby hairs, I'm kind of combing forward or combing down. And that's because when I come in with the trimmer, I want to be able to catch some hair and give them a nice clean line. And I know a lot of people like to create a section in the front that is wider, but he doesn't get braids, or he doesn't tie up his hair, right? He just wears it in a fro. So I don't want to give him this super tapered down detached lineup. I want to, lay it all down naturally and then line it up. So to prep the lineup, I always like to spray some alcohol and then follow it up with a light hairspray. I'm just going to mist it right on the hairline, and then I'll dry it with some cool air. And that's going to give us a nice clean surface for the trimmers to, to work with. So I'm going to come in and line up his vertical bar first. Because it is so light, I don't want to risk the chance of starting in the front and then working my way to the corner and pushing them back. I want to establish where I want that vertical line first, and then I'll go to the middle and connect those in the corner. So I'm starting in the middle and working towards that corner slowly, trying to get it as nice and as clean as possible, while at the same time not pushing them back too much. As you can see, it's already looking a lot more framed out, a lot cleaner. Now I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing, establish that vertical bar, and then work my way towards that corner. This side was a little bit harder to work with because it was slightly lighter, and his hair kind of grows back towards, his ear. So I'm taking my time here, trying to get that corner as sharp as I can. And slowly but surely, this lineup is coming together. We're staying patient. We're not getting overworked and overwhelmed. And now we're going to use some enhancements. So I'm going to come in with my Kiss Express and alcohol mix and spray it right on the hairline. And the goal with this is to give his hairline the fullest look possible. So I'm coming in and I'm spraying lightly, and then I'm darkening it up as needed. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, enhance his vertical bar. And you notice with the vertical bar, I'm not bringing it all the way down to his eyebrow, which is what I see a lot of barbers do. I'm stopping it right where I would want it to stop, as if it was a lot of hair there, right? So right where the top of the curve would naturally be if I gave him a hook, that's where I want the vertical bar to stop. And now I'm going to reline it, make sure everything's nice and clean. And as you can see, the lineup really framed that fade out. And now we're going to go ahead and lower his mustache down to a 1 guard open. He wanted to keep the length on the goatee and chin area. And now we're just going to follow the line he already has here. Get it off the top of the lip. And then go ahead and thin out the top. So we're bringing the mustache down to the line where he likes it. Some people like their mustaches thinner. Some people like them thicker. And now for the stubble above the top of the mustache, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of with my shaver. And this makes it a lot easier when I come in with the razor. And now I know he doesn't have much on his cheeks for a beard, but we're going to line it up kind of like a ghost line and act as if there is hair there, because believe it or not, a lot of times people have very thin beards, but when you line it up as if there's hairs there, you'd be surprised what the trimmer catch and what it can actually put a line on. So always at least attempt. Now this side's a little more fuller, has more hair, so it's gonna look a little more defined than his right side did. And you'll notice I only use the trimmer on the bottom of his neck, not the shaver. That's because I don't want to risk the chance of him bumping up. And now for the razor on the hairline, I'm going to stretch the skin in the opposite direction of which I'm using that razor. And then we're just going to bring it to the hairline, trying to get rid of that stubble. Give him a clean line that has some longevity to it as well. And that fade from this angle is looking super clean. Lineup looking super clean. Definitely shaking my man back right now. And because we prepped the hairline so well, he's already getting that natural kind of, ash line that really makes the lineup pop. And now for the beard, I had him blow a bubble. And then I'm going to establish that bottom line and then go to the top and meet those 2 points in the middle. And after we do the razor, it makes his facial hair look a whole lot better. And as barbers, that's what we got to do, man. We got to work with what we got and make it look, as clean as we can for the client. And now we're going to spray him with some oil sheen. Get ready to sponge the top. So he's not looking like a 90s style. Give it a little bit of a modern, more relaxed look. And I like to use the tennis racket instead of a foam sponge because it's just more sanitary, especially since I use it on a lot of people. I want to be able to rinse it off in the sink. And as you can see, that curl on top really makes everything look way better. My client came in looking rough, but he left looking clean, man. Listen, if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And like always, I appreciate y'all. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.